Hello and thanks for joining us on today's edition of Prime News Live from Studio 1 of My Media Prime Television. My name is Fon Quinta, and we begin the news in the northwest region of the country, where separatist fighters, led by self-proclaimed Ambazonia General No PT, have claimed responsibility for the attack on a Lac Oku market yesterday. The over 30 separatist fighters stormed the market, setting ablaze shops, vehicles and houses. Joy Gang has details of the story.
Deafening gunshots, ravaging fire. This is the tragedy that befell a Lac Oku yesterday, August 23, 2021. Business persons in the area are yet to recover from the attack early Monday morning on the local market. Over 58 shops, goods and vehicles went up in flames. Their crime, the non-respect of the ghost towns and lockdowns imposed by the separatist fighters. According to amateur images circulating on social media, over 80 separatist fighters, led by self-proclaimed General No PT, claim responsibility of the attack on the Lac Oku market.
Today, 23rd August 2021. We me FM No PT, the father of Marine Force of Ambazonia, make this video for a Lac Oku. If you say the only thing I will put the motor there, set the motor ablaze, now all that.
Aside the enormous material damages recorded at the Oku market, the separatist fighters during the attack contented themselves with setting ablaze the mayor's residence. The Oku council chambers was equally targeted, and a part of the building was caught up in flames. The town of Oku was taken hostage by the armed separatist fighters for over 2 hours, forcing the security forces and local population to take cover for fear of the unknown. This attack on a Lac Oku by the separatist fighters comes at a time when several calls are being made by authorities and the local population for a peaceful resumption of the 2021-2022 academic year.
Now, the head of communication at the Ministry of Defense, Crise at Tonfagemo, has termed the attack on Presbyterian Church Bali as an absolute hoax. His reaction, published Monday, August 23, 2021, comes after the moderator of the Presbyterian Church condemned such violence which led to the death of a Christian and a pastor injured. Student journalist and internship Nuben Ivona read through both communiques and compiled the following report for Prime News.
Cameroon's army spokesperson Navy Captain Cyril Serge Atonfak has denied allegations of the murder of a Christian faithful in Bali by elements of defense and security forces. The information is contained in a press release dated August 23, 2021 and signed by Navy Captain Cyril Serge Atonfak, Head of Communication Department at the Ministry of Defense in Cameroon. Going by the release, Navy Captain Atonfak attributes the Black Sunday incident on what he terms results of failed cohesion and coordination amongst members of the non-state armed groups, whom to him are responsible for scores of deaths in Bali area of the Northwest region. He equally highlights that the state army successfully neutralized on the spot several improvised explosive devices which were prematurely detonated by the said pro-independence fighters. The army spokesperson also described the allegations as false propaganda promoted by some media, national and international non-governmental organizations intended at demoralizing and demobilizing the state army in their missions of defending the territorial integrity of the country and the protection of lives and properties. Meanwhile, authorities of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon (PCC) have called for an unconditional ceasefire to the ongoing hostilities in the crisis-hit regions of the country. The call is contained in a statement issued Monday, August 23 by PCC moderator the Right Reverend Funky Samuel Foba, while condemning in his strongest terms the inhumane treatment meted on God's people. The moderator calls for an international probe into the incident, which has since attracted global condemnation.
And to something else, fire has ravaged a cosmetic shop at a half-mile in the southwest region of Cameroon. According to reports, the incident occurred late Monday, August 23, and the ravaging flame was prevented from spreading to other buildings thanks to the intervention of elements of the firefighting brigade. Many have blamed the fire incident on poor electrical connections. Meanwhile, investigation is on the way to determine the real cause of the fire. Now, inhabitants of Mbangé Koto, a neighborhood in Douala 5 subdivision, have decried frequent power outages and low voltage. They say the situation have destroyed most of their electrical appliances. Details with Alan Summer.
This is Mbangé Koto in Douala 5, Cameroon's economic capital, where in recent times power outages, fluctuation in voltage, which comes high and sometimes low, has, according to inhabitants of the neighborhood, destroyed a good number of electrical appliances, including fridges, deep freezers, TV sets, fans, chargers, among others. This victim, who runs a provision shop at Le Repère Mbangé, narrates. We have a voltage problem at Le Repère de Mbangé. We have our transformer beside there, which is always about to catch fire. And when the voltage is high, we observe sparks here and there, which causes our electrical appliances to always get burned. Really, we are frustrated because even bulbs get bad as well. Fridges, deep freezers usually get bad. We can't be paying huge bills and still end up losing so much. Enio should look into the issue. Another inhabitant also shared her experience even after visiting Enio's office. We have suffered so much and we continue to suffer with Enio because with the low voltage rate, we are left with all our electrical equipment burned. You just realize that all electrical gadgets at home are all destroyed. But the fun is you have to lay a complaint. You get to the power supply office, they will tell you your situation will be looked into, but you wait for days, nothing is done. Now in Cameroon, you have to use rechargeable lamps or move to another neighborhood just to charge your phone. So it's indeed a disastrous issue. However, with all the complaints, Enio has not yet reacted, so I don't know what to do. Normally, they were supposed to pay at least half of the money we spent on repairing the appliances. In this country, things are just getting worse.
On devrait essayer de nous dédommager, ne serait-ce qu'à moitié, mais ce qui n'est pas fait.
Nonetheless, these victims say the officials at Enio have diagnosed the electrical problem in Mbangé, which is coming from the transformer, but are disturbed because for months nothing tangible has been done to trash the problem once and for all.
Now, two suspected car thieves are currently under custody at the Judicial Police Post in Douala, Cameroon. The suspects reportedly stole a car on February 14, 2021 in Yaoundé and transported it to Douala. Details with student journalist on internship Bati Susan.
Two men suspected to have been involved in the theft of two Toyota vehicles in Yaoundé have been apprehended in Bunaberi by the mobile intervention of the police Jamboree No. 2 Bonanjo Douala. According to Commander Awa Christian, who is in charge of anti-crime unit of the mobile intervention unit Jamboree No. 2, a Toyota vehicle Hilux belonging to a man by name Binga was stolen. On the 16th of February 2021, he filed a complaint at the police station.
Dans la nuit du 14 au 15 février 2021, au quartier Biémassi,
on the night of the 14th to the 15th of February 2021, at the Biémassi neighborhood in Yaoundé, a vehicle Toyota Hilux belonging to Mbinga was stolen. On the 16th of February 2021, he filed a complaint at the mobile intervention unit.
Nous avons déployé nos équipes sur le terrain.
He explains further that after some months, the elements of the anti-crime brigade located the said vehicle in a neighborhood in Bunaberi and were equally able to arrest the first suspects. After more investigations, the officer of the anti-criminal brigade got hold of the second suspect who stole the Toyota Carina E and had changed the color of the car.
Mes collaborateurs de la brigade anticriminalité.
My collaborators of the anti-criminal brigade were able to get hold of a second vehicle equally stolen, a Toyota Carina E. We pursued our investigations and got hold of a second suspect. He was tasked with changing the car paint.
The suspects are currently in the regional division of the Judiciary Police in the Littoral for the follow-up of investigations. Meanwhile, Commander Awa Christian has promised to continue in the search of stolen vehicles and return them to their rightful owners.
On today's Back to School series, our reporter Bokengo Wadi focuses on university institutions and how far they are preparing. She visited Hibmat campus in Douala and compiled the following report.
As back-to-school preparation peaks this season for parents who engage in the purchase of school bags, books and other academic items, especially for nursery, primary, secondary and high school pupils and students, some higher institutions such as the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology Hibmat have their sleeves rolled up and deep in work. Hibmat swung open their doors to receive students following the release of the GCE results, leaving tons of successful candidates nationwide. The institution, whose students scored 100% in all fields of studies, is under construction for better and comfortable learning environment, aspiring to have an estimated 500 students this 2021-2022 academic year for many reasons than one.
Looking at our outstanding performance on our past HNG results, on all the specialties, we have banking and finance, we have project management, human resource management, transport and logistics, marketing, accountancy. We scored 100% in all these specialties, and that is what has boosted us up at this level. And we are about to welcome more than 500 students due to our performance.
It should be borne in mind that quality education is a necessity for students, parents and society, especially in lifting up when broken down.
Hibmat Douala is a highly professionalized institute and a great citadel of knowledge for students who want to embrace professionalism. Our teaching staff, all the lecturers are highly qualified lecturers with a high level of experience because they have been teaching over the years, and they are very focused. Most of them are doctors and equally master's degree holders.
The Dean of Studies for the Educational Institution states,
students are well taught, closely followed up and evaluated and equally rewarded at the end of their final exams.
Orientation, hand-picked top-notch enterprises for internship, international partner universities and more are some details in store for parents and students from esteemed higher educational institution like Hibmat come 2021-2022 academic year.
Now, consultative talks to revive a number of villages which have been extinct for over a century took place over the weekend in Upper Bundruma village in Boya southwest region of Cameroon. Our reporter Kuma Honore attended a consultative talk and compiled the following.
His Royal Highness Chief Nje Francis Enongene is the chief designate of Muru village. He was designated alongside 3 other chiefs in a consultative talks which took place over the weekend to revamp villages under the Munya Court area. The consultative talks, which took place at the Upper Bunduma Village Community Hall, were presided at by the Divisional Officer for Boya Subdivision, Abba Abdurrahman. Addressing the population, the Divisional Officer apologized for the delay in convening the consultative talks as the talks were postponed twice. Joe Abba Abdurrahman added that the postponement in the consultative talks was to permit him and the intelligence services carry out thorough investigations on the history of villages to better understand the situation at hand. It is for this reason that he carried out a pre-consultative talk in his office to get first-hand information from the parties concerned. The consultative talks went hitch-free as all the candidates of the 4 villages were unanimously selected by all the kingmakers of the royal families.
Today we are happy because what we were longing for, it has been given to us today. We have put our new chief in place so that we'll go back and revamp our village. So we are so happy. There is a lot of joy in our heart because we are seeing ourselves back to our village, the Mugo village, under the Munyakot area.
It is worth mentioning that Munyakot area is one of the localities in Fako division that has been highly hit by the socio-political crisis in the 2 English-speaking regions, with separatist fighters on a day-to-day hit-and-run encounter with the military.
My expectation from the chief is, first of all, to gather the villagers. We are calling on all the sons and daughters of Moro village that they should come back to the village so that together we can foster development and peace in Moro. What our ancestors left, we are asking the chief to be able to gather all the sons and daughters so that together we can build a community where the villagers will live in peace and harmony.
The chief designates will have a Herculean task, not only to bring peace to these communities, but to accompany it with development and to make human habitation favorable for villagers to return to their villages, which has been extinct for more than a century.
We stay in the Southwest region where the maiden edition of the Southwest Youth League Sports and Cultural Jamboree for Peace has been launched in Boya. The 2-week initiative seeks to promote peace amongst our youth in the crisis-affected regions of Cameroon. Details with Clarice Okowe.
Shouts of encouragement to their favorite football team. This was the fanfare that characterized this launching of the maiden edition of the Southwest Youth League Sports and Cultural Jamboree. Animating simultaneously were also different cultural dance groups to thrill this huge crowd of lovers of sport and culture who gathered at the football pitch of the National School of Public Works Annex in Boya. Attended by administrative authorities, traditional rulers, educationists, and a host of other dignitaries, this maiden edition of Soweyo Sports and Cultural Jamboree, according to the President Kizito Eswa, is aimed at bringing youths together toward the path of peace.
This is a tournament which is out to reach love, peace, unity, social cohesion, and of course, as you all have seen for yourself, it's something just so wonderful. It's the first of its kind, and we are promising that we will continue and pray that the nation, the Southwest, the youths of the Southwest will rally behind us, change our thoughts, to know that we have our destinies to pursue.
A laudable initiative, as some lovers of sport and culture noted.
It's a means of sensitizing young people to act and work for a return to peace or normalcy to the Southwest region, and I thought that it was an important initiative, and because I also interested in of peace and normalcy to the Southwest region, I took time off to come.
With 9 matches to be played in the towns of Limbe, Boya and Tiko, the Southwest population have been encouraged to seize the opportunity to savour from the rich cultural diversity in the Southwest region. Meanwhile, this opening of the first football match was played between Fako Division and Kupe Maninguba, which ended on a 1-0 in favor of Fako Division.
Still ahead, a delegation from the Ministry of Public Works was in the far north region of Cameroon Monday, August 23, 2021, to discuss road construction projects on the National Road number 11. Audrey Zadza has details of this story.
Led by Public Works Minister Emmanuel Nganu Jumesi, the Public Works Ministry delegation was in the far north region to assess the state of the region's road network and prepare for their rehabilitations. On the menu yesterday, Monday, August 23rd, was the visit to the construction site of the bridge over the Mayo Limani, the rehabilitation of the National Road No. 1 Mora-Waza section, as well as a visit of the aggregate production quarry in Waza. The physical progress rate of the project to rehabilitate the bridge over the Mayo Limani and its access ways in the Mayo Sava division started on January 19, 2021 and which is to end in October stands at 46.05%. The 10-month completion timeline aimed at facilitating the movement of people and goods in the region and re-establishing the link between Cameroon and Nigeria. Concerning the rehabilitation project of National Road No. 1 Mora to Dabanga and Kuseri section, Minister said 2 toll stations and 2 weighing stations will be constructed, notwithstanding the development of accompanying socio-economic infrastructure. And while the Public Works Minister was visiting the area, thousands of local residents living along Radia Makabai in Marwa have expressed their fears as they are living in floods following heavy downpours. Faced with the speed of erosion, they mobilize every day, with the strongest carrying the weaker ones on their back during flooding to move from one place to another. Shovels and bags are used to fill in the banks that threaten their homes. According to the locals, last year, more than 6,000 bags were deposited and more than 9,000 plants to protect the banks. After their complaints to the authorities went unheeded, out of breath, the inhabitants are crying out for help.
And in what's making news on the African continent, Nora Kakebe visited Zambia, South Africa, Sierra Leone and compiled the following report.
In touring the African continent, Zambia's newly elected president, Hakainde Hichilema, has been sworn into office on Tuesday, August 24, at a ceremony attended by other African leaders, including Tanzania President Samia Suluhu Hassan and Malawi's leader Lazarus Chakwera, amongst others. It should be recalled that Hichilema defeated outgoing President Edgar Lungu in a landslide by almost 1 million votes in his 6th attempt at becoming Zambia's ruler. There was a huge turnout of the young people, some dressed in their academic robes to transmit messages of unemployment. Hichilema said it is a new dawn for Zambia and that he is overwhelmed with gratitude. Meanwhile, in South Africa, close to 500,000 vaccine doses have been administered as the country records over 7,000 new infections. The majority of new cases were logged in KwaZulu-Natal with 2,542, followed by Eastern Cape with 1,634 and Western Cape with 1,286 infections. According to the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, this increase represents a 20% positive rate. The infections continue to increase with 7,632 new infections having been identified in the country. Almost 5 million adults have been fully inoculated after 247,293 vaccine shots were administered in the last 24 hours. In addition, 163 persons succumbed to the disease, bringing a total to 79,584. And in Sierra Leone, the Ebola booster dose vaccination kicked off following administration of the prime dose of the Johnson & Johnson Ebola vaccine in May this year. Frontline health workers, practitioners of traditional medicines or traditional healers, and commercial motorbike riders who received the first dose were given their second jab to maximize their protection against the disease. The target beneficiaries were identified as high-risk groups and selected for preventive vaccination to protect them in the event. There has been a cross-border transmission of the disease, which had re-emerged in Guinea in February 2021. Administration of the second dose of this preventive Ebola vaccination is happening at a time when several highly infectious viral hemorrhagic fever outbreaks are confirmed in 2 countries in the sub-region.
Nora Kakebi's tour around the African continent concludes today's edition of Prime News. The news was compiled by Lasha Kingsley and produced for us by Ewane Nolinga Ella. Prime R comes up at 7 p.m. with Gumlena Ranisti. My name is Van Quinta. Stay with us. Good night.